Get 20% off all Manscaped products plus free shipping with the promo code STTV.
All right. Yo, people, welcome back to another episode of Stoppage Time TV, presented to you by the lovely Manscaped. My co-host stood me up today, so I ain't got no material, nothing, but I'm sure the link will be down below, all up in the screen, all up in the caption. Joined by
Merv,
you might know him from. Listen, let's not talk about his past life. You know what I'm trying to say? Let's not talk about his past life. Right now, he's here to be a football analyst. Merv, make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe, and guys, spam the comments about Maze and Fuad not being here. Look how they've left me. You guys know I'm the hardest working Stoppage Time TV member. Facts.
hardest work in the room.
It's facts. And I'm the heartbroken one as well. But anyway, we'll get into all of that. Merv, bro. It didn't come home. After all the singing, after all the preparations to flood Wembley, after Shoreditch, after Trafalgar Square, after Leicester Square, after all of that stuff that was going on, man, all the plans. What do you think overall of the game in terms of how the game was managed, and how did you even feel going into the game, first and foremost?
I mean, I feel as though, as a nation, England tend to get carried away anyway, but I feel as though Italy were there for the taking. I still feel that way even after the match. And I know they say it's cliche to say you can score too early, but I definitely think that England scored too early because it gave them something to hold on to. Mm-hmm. And it almost, and the magnitude of the occasion, 55 years without a trophy, I think scoring that early was like, right, we've got something, let's protect it. Mm-hmm. And I think it was just way too soon. I'm sure I've heard some people have likened it to Man City and Chelsea. It's not the same thing. Chelsea scored on the stroke of half time. That's completely different to scoring within 2 minutes. And I think after from what I observed, within 10 minutes, sort of went into defensive mode. You keep the ball, try break us down, we'll try maybe counter attack, but we have something, let's hold on to it. And I just think that's the wrong approach.
And I think it also as well, on top of that, I think it made the fans kind of plateau, fam. I'm not gonna lie, since the Germany game, the fans have been dead in Wembley Stadium, bro. Germany was only 20k, the fans, 25k. After that, Denmark and Italy, it was 60k or whatever. It was nearly full. No, not nearly full, but it was bare people in there. The atmosphere wasn't the same, bro. You could feel nerves in the stadium, bro.
Yeah.
And I think that is because of the way England were playing. The first 10, 15 minutes, Phillips was doing what he's doing, running into man. I tweeted, England are so aggressive. It looked like we were going to physically dominate Italy. Obviously, we're never going to win on the technical side of things. Yeah. But physically, I thought, they're imposing themselves. Then all of a sudden, it's like they just went into their shell, bro.
It's the goal.
And the fans got nervous. Everything started becoming, after a sloppy pass. And Italy just got into the England players' heads. And I just think they just took it over from there, man.
I think if the game was in the balance for a bit longer, feel out the game, and then maybe England scored then. But I just reckon it was almost as though they started with an advantage. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it was almost like a Champions League second leg tie when you have the advantage already, and you know that all you have to do is just avoid losing and you go through. That was the sense I got once England scored very early, and I just think it's the wrong approach. I reckon, like you said, in the first few, they were up for it, they were imposing themselves, they were aggressive, but then after that, it was almost like you see Kane drop even deeper, everyone behind him. And it's like, so you're just going to let Jorginho and Verratti just keep shifting it, keep probing. They're going to find a way through. When they do find a way through, it's not as simple as just throwing on a few players and then switching it up. If you spent the best part of an hour, 70 minutes just being defensive, you can't just go from that mode to, right, let's try get the ball again, try play, try attack. It's done. Once they scored, they should have scored again, if we're being real. Bernadeschi had a chance, I think it was in extra time.
19 shots,
they could have scored a few more times.
England had 6 shots, 2 on target, as basically the home nation after going 1-0 up. And do you know what that other shot on target was? It was a John Stones shoulder or whatever it was, and the keeper tipped it.
Kind of going over anyway.
Exactly. So overall, Harry Kane had 0 touches in the box in 120 minutes.
This is the thing.
The striker.
This is the thing. Obviously, his assists for Sterling. Well, not his assist, but his through ball that sliced open the defense. Saka cuts it through, and then I think it was Kea own goal. Stuff like that justifies, and obviously the crazy amount of assists he got for Spurs this past season justifies him dropping deep. But when you hear stats like that, when it's a final and you have no touches, it's like, yo,
it's like you wasted the opportunity of your career.
We get it. You can do that other part where you drop deep and you start facilitating, but we need you in the box, bro. We need you to, because there's no one better than one touch, boom. You always seem to get your shot off, get it on target.
But that's where the goal came from.
I feel like,
yeah, this is what I'm saying. So the goal did come from which one?
He switched it to strips. I
exactly.
think,
So yeah, that gives legs to the argument that he should continue to play that role. But when you hear stats like no touches in the box, it's like maybe it was a bit too much. Maybe
it was too much. And the thing is, it was a concern for me going into the tournament the way Kane plays, coming deep for England. And you look at the goal against Germany. He was in the box. He was patient that game. He wasn't forcing it. He wasn't coming deep. Ukraine, same thing. He got his 2 goals. He was patient. Denmark, it was a penalty. But that game, I thought he was playing well, coming deep. But I think because that game, he came deep and everyone started giving him, that's his performance of the season, like of the tournament against Denmark. He just went full, like, I'm playing for Spurs mode here. And it went too far, bruv. Yeah. It went too far. And then in the end, if you're a striker and you've had 0 touches in the box in 120, bro, not even 90, they gave you extra 30, 120 minutes and you haven't had a touch in the box. It's not even a memorable game for him. He's going to look back at this and, what did I do?
And I thought he was getting the better of Italy's centre-backs. When they were going into the duels, he was getting the better of them. So I was like, yo, rub yourself up against them more. Like, get into them. Like, you're getting the better of them. But
so he had no shots on goal?
No shots on goal, nothing. On the other side of things, though, like, do you think, with the way England played, like, a lot of people have said, oh, Jorginho and Verratti and that boss Rice and Phillips and all this type of stuff, but I think that's such a simplistic way of looking at it, that them two got bossed by those two and that's the end of the game. Like, that's it. Chiellini and Bonucci played in England's half nearly the whole game.
Yeah, and that speaks to the tactics of England. Like, just sit back and absorb. What would you expect to happen?
Exactly. And when you're doing that, listen, any team that has 29% possession in the first 90 minutes, you're gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle to do anything. It started becoming Pickford hoofball. Anytime he gets it, Pickford just, he thinks he's got the Roberto Carlos foot. He'll just hammer it, and it goes all the way back to them. And then the pressure keeps coming. And yes, they scored a lucky goal. Like, Pickford, what a save.
That goal was coming, though.
But it was coming. If it didn't come that way, it was going to come a different way. So you can't even be too mad. That's why no one's even bothering to dissect that goal.
Which is also interesting because everyone observing that game could see Italy are going to score any moment. Now, anyone could see that, right?
Why couldn't Gareth Southgate?
That's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes you have to be proactive instead of reactive. Don't wait for it to happen and then think, no, you could see the way this game is going, there is no way England are going to get through another half an hour without conceding. A goal was coming.
My thing is, all tournament, I was, and the thing is, people are going to say, oh, you're only saying this now because they lost, but all tournament, I was saying, his in-game management in every game, for me, was always, at some point, a little bit questionable. You can possibly say, only one I think he got really good was the Germany game. Shut out Germany for a bit, bring on your attacking players in Grealish or whatever, you win. Like, clap for you. You got to give him that. But Denmark, even, it took him like 80 something minutes to make a sub. Denmark had made 3 subs at that point. Yeah. Like, it's like people were doing things first and he wasn't reacting to it at that point. Let's be real. Beat Denmark by a dubious penalty. By a dubious penalty, Kane bagged. First of all, Kane missed the penalty as well. Imagine how much luck we're getting. It's Sterling, it wasn't a pen. No. And then he missed the pen and got the rebound. So, really and truly, that was a game that was going to go to penalty shootouts. Through, for me, Gareth Southgate not managing the game well. And even in this game, as soon as England went to a back 4, he took off Trips and brought on Saka. Now, it wasn't a game-changing move, but all of a sudden, Italy started retreating a little bit. What if you had done that 30 minutes earlier?
Suddenly asking questions of them instead of just sitting back and letting them just keep probing it and switch. It's like, yo, they're going to score like this. Like, give them something to think about. You don't need 5 at the back right now. Like, switch it up.
You've got to do something, to affect the game. And I'm sorry, like, I feel like that final just showed his flaws. Because the reason why I've got to say it showed his flaws is because, look, England lost on penalties. We can't. in a way, he could say, well, we got to penalties, but you should never leave it to possibility. It's a 50-50 chance, right? You should, if we're a positive nation, we should be thinking, why didn't we win the game in 90? Okay, it went to extra. Why didn't we win the game in 120? I don't want to be sitting there thinking, oh, we're just unlucky because we lost on pens. Whatever happens in pens happens, because that's a penalty shootout. My thing is, and I don't want to make anybody scapegoats or anything like that, but how did Mason Mount play until extra time? Like, honestly, bro, it still gets me mad thinking about it. Like, just to go back to what I was just saying, Southgate did the exact same thing against Croatia. This is why it shows his flaws. Against Croatia, we went 1-0 up. Ironically, a fullback scored again as well. Trippier scored the free kick. Shaw scored today or the other day. Then we sat back the whole game and let Modric look like we basically gave him the Ballon d'Or that game. He might as well won the Ballon d'Or on that game because he bossed England like it was nothing. And the same thing Verratti's now done, and well, mainly Verratti, because I think he had more passes than the whole England midfield to put together, and including Hendo coming off the bench. It was just anyway. So it's something that we've seen Gareth Southgate in England do before: go up and then defend. And you're not built like that to do that. So then now going forward, anyway, I just think it was criminal. It's the criminal move. And look, I'm one of the guys that back Mason Mount for Chelsea so much. When everyone was saying he's Frank's son and everything, I was the one saying, no. Like, the reason why I didn't rate that is because he was still performing for me as Chelsea's best player. So you guys are just being harsh on him. Yeah, I mean, using him as a scapegoat. But you see, this tournament, he was England's worst player by far. And what I don't like is, how did he play 456 minutes? The only time he didn't start is because he was away for COVID. Yeah. Jack Grealish, 1 start. Sancho, 1 start. Foden, you were done with him after the first 2 games. You didn't want to see him again. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to say, like, this is, but you're letting this guy have stinker after stinker after stinker. It's, bro, like, come on, man. That is a bias, bro. That is a bias.
So who would you have played instead of Mount?
I would have played anyone instead of him.
Because he said he sees Grealish as a winger. He's come out and said that category.
But he played him as a 10 though against Czech Republic.
When he came on in the final, Saka played in the 10 and Grealish played.
Jesus Christ, Saka played 10. My head was gone. I didn't even notice that Saka was 10.
He's always seen Grealish as a wide player. So
okay, but if you saw Grealish as a wide player, right? And I'm not even trying to make it a Jack Grealish thing, because it could be any of those attacking players. They would have offered Foden more than him. The formation that England played, yeah, you basically I would have preferred Saka start the game if you're going to do that, because clearly it was a team that was set up to sit back, hit them on the break. At least let us have 3 attackers up there. England basically played against Italy with 2 attackers. Kane and Sterling with only attackers.
Right wing
started right wing.
Yeah, that was puzzling.
What is the point of him playing there? Like, it's
mad when you think England going into the tournament. I think general consensus was they have the best attacking squad. Perhaps not first team, because obviously the likes of France, Belgium, their first 11 attack is crazy. But in terms of the squad, no one can see England, bro. You can take anyone out. You take out Sterling, you throw in Grealish. If you take out
England had Champions
Foden,
League.
Sancho, you can put anyone.
England had Champions League winning fullbacks not playing a minute this tournament, and I'm not saying that's calm. That's calm for Southgate, because Walker and Thingy would go. I'm not trying to say, oh, these men should have played, but that's how stacked they are.
Yeah. England were undoubtedly stacked, and on top of that, on top of playing a defensive formation, he actually drops another attacker. And he throws in Mason. It was a weird. That's what I'm saying.
You're giving the game to Italy before, and that's the problem with England. Like,
Italy
England
were there for the taking. They were there. Yeah. They were there. If England were just a bit more courageous and actually took the game to them. Emerson, bro, he can't even get a minute for Chelsea. When was the last time he played for Chelsea?
Against Atletico, and he scored.
When was that? Group stage?
No,
that last late goal, innit? Yeah.
Regardless, right? Emerson. He's not the most competent fullback, right? So go at him. Don't put Mason Mount out there. Mason Mount that's not his game to beat players like Spinazzola's injured. He's out of there. You know Emerson's going to play left wing. You know that defensive, like going that way, he's not very good. He wants to get forward and affect the game.
I saw Mount was even popping up on the left as well. It was everywhere. And listen, this is not taking anything away from Italy, because Italy were the best team in the tournament, right? Yeah. But the gap shouldn't have been as big as it was. It should have been a competitive game. After a while, it didn't even feel like it was competitive. It just felt like England are waiting here for penalties, or what like the inferiority complex that England played with.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing that I hate about England, like all my life of watching England, is everything England do has how can we stop the opposition? It's never, I've got Foden, I've got Grealish, I've got this, I got that. Do you know
How are
what
they
today?
going to stop us?
How are they going? Thank you. How are they going to stop us? It's always, how are we going to counter this and counter that? And by the way, that 5 at the back worked this tournament only against Germany, who played a 5 at the back as well.
Yeah.
Switching it up for the final was risky. And the thing I was saying that if you're going to do that, if you're going to switch up for the final, then surely you're going to need your wing backs to get high. Luke Shaw scored. I tweeted before the game, if England are going to have any success today, Luke Shaw needs to have a big game then. He ended up scoring. Great. But then from there, you need to continue doing it, because what Italy needs, you're going to overload them then if you have the fullbacks getting up like
Exactly what
that.
happened. Donnarumma was looking like, yo, who's
Back post, he's like, yo, what's going on? So England needed to be building attacks and getting the fullbacks there, but no, the fullbacks were playing in a back.
The
five,
moment they
bro.
scored, literally it was like a switch. Okay, maybe for the next 10, 15 minutes perhaps, but
Nothing was happening. It was just England were getting their tackles in. It's not like England were like bopping them. It just they were getting their tackles in after 10 minutes after the goal.
and to take your point that with England teams in the past, it's always been a matter of how do we stop them instead of how do they stop us. I mean, in the past, you can understand why to some extent, right? England haven't been overly blessed with an abundance of attacking players but this generation coming through now, you're looking at that squad on paper, you're thinking, whoa, if these guys all turn up, like you can look at your bench, like, who are we going to put on? Like so many different questions. You can throw Foden anywhere across the...
Chiellini said before the game, Italy's subs so England's subs could potentially have made a final. And... he was being dead serious. Like England's, and I'm not going to go that far, but I'm just saying that's how everyone respected England's squad. For once, I was actually looking at it and I was like, England can compete with these guys player for player. They can compete with these guys the way they're playing. But slowly, if you keep having this cautious mentality, it's going to make you nearly men. Yeah. And it happened in the World Cup. It's happened now. At the highest level, if you keep trying to play that way, you're going to get caught out, bro. And that's what's happened again. Like, so I can't praise... Thank you, Gareth Southgate, for, like, you know, making us always coming home and everyone's gas. But in the highest moments, his flaws shine way too bright, in my opinion, man.
I reckon if they were a bit more braver, then, look, when they went 1-0 ahead, you're looking at the team thinking, look, Italy are there for the taking. You can potentially score again. And then maybe you can take put the handbrake on a bit and be a bit more, keep your shape and be a bit more defensive. But 1-0, that's never enough. And you're looking at the clock, it's like 10 minutes gone. England literally, I mean, don't even get me started on the second half. The second half, they literally stopped playing.
Yeah.
Completely stopped.
Yeah.
And you're watching it thinking, like, can you not see that they're going to score any moment now?
Yeah.
You're not putting no passes together. There's no attacking for it at all. It's almost like we've got this 1-0 lead. We haven't won in 55 years. Let's hold on to this. The fans will get us over the line. It's like, no. This ain't enough. You scored way too early.
Yeah.
Like,
and then you do. Then for me, where it was when I was just like, okay, do you know what? I'm done with this. I'm just done with this game. Is when he just did the sub of Rice for Phillips. I mean, sorry, of Hendo for Rice. That was just kind of like, oh, let's just do like for like. Yeah. Hendo's gonna come and do the same thing. And by the way,
I've said
many times. No, that was at 1-0. Oh. I've said many times, bro. Henderson, bro, I don't care. It's not Liverpool. It's not Klopp. It's not high press. It's not you're not holding Trent's hand while Trent goes and makes everything happen. International level, the Hendo's just not good enough, bro. That was one of the worst cameos I've seen in my whole life.
Yeah. But to be fair,
the guy did it outside the football, off the pitch. I was like, I'm done with this game.
No, but
bro.
to be fair,
then he got hooked.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But to be fair, he was thrown into a game that was so one-sided. But how are you going to get into a game when the team isn't even in the game?
Fairs.
England weren't even in the game. Italy had all of the ball. They were completely bossing England, and you throw him in there. So he's literally trying to find a way to get in. You ain't got the ball, so you just got to run around chasing shadows. Everyone's dropping deep. You got, like you said, you got Bonucci and Chiellini pushing up into England's half. You got Verratti and Jorginho just literally. So he was always going to struggle to get into the game.
Difference.
Before you lot move on, I want to say one point. I think
we're going to talk about penalties.
England's biggest issue where they always struggle is because they do not have a midfield controller. Until England produce somebody at the highest level that can control tempo and can control speed of game, they ain't going to win. Unless it's a fast-paced game where you could do the Phillips and Rice press and they can quickly win it back and then score in transition.
I'm not a big fan of that. Phillips, Rice.
International ball is about control.
Yeah,
it's a slow game.
I agree with that.
They don't have someone like that control the game.
But this is the issue, though. This is the issue. England had that once upon a time in Paul Scholes, who's one of the best of all time. And you decided, let's play two hybrids in midfield in Lampard and Gerrard, who can't control anything. And then what ends up happening? So England have had something like that. And for me, it's just going to end up... What's going to really frustrate me, right, is if, let's say Jack Grealish, for example, goes to Man City and then he starts playing for England starter. That's going to piss me off, bro, because why couldn't he just play in this tournament? Now, I'm not saying Grealish is a controller or anything, but one thing that England needed was ball retention, was somebody that can progress the play and someone can create. You literally have the best player of that, by the way, apart from Kevin De Bruyne in the Premier League, in your side, sitting on the bench while my man is doing unlimited amount of minutes. There was one point I was looking at mine, and I actually think he wanted to come off, bro. Like, take me, please. You know what I'm saying? But listen, England don't have it. And if Jude Bellingham is our next, like, future centre mid, he's not that either. He's a hybrid as well.
He's not the control, dictate the tempo of the game.
When Verratti got that game, it was over.
You could see that coming from a mile away. You could see it was going to be that.
You look at Verratti against Busquets and Pedri, they schooled him. Verratti had a poor game against Spain. They schooled him. Like, let's be real, they schooled him. But so that's...
but no one
come on, Busquets was like, I'm the father here. Chill. Chill. You still got to earn your stripes. But listen, that is what it is. And I keep saying, technical ability in international level for me is always the most important thing. Big up England for getting to the final, whatever. But it still feels like that major test, England fail all the time. I mean, it just feels like it. But let's go on to the penalties, man. Because for me, I feel like everyone's over-analysing the penalty shootouts, bro. Penalties is 50-50. You win some, you lose some. You leave it to probability, you can't be mad. That's why I'm not fuming at the penalties as much as everyone else is. I'm seeing people who their legs shake when they're going to take a Sunday League penalty, talking about, why didn't you just ras it into the top corner? Shut up, bro. You know what I'm saying? Are you dumb?
No, facts.
Like,
I agree.
what are you talking about? Like, you guys are shook, bro. You guys are shook to even put your hand up in the restaurant and say your food isn't right. And you're talking about... And you're talking about how to rust it into the top bins. Please stop it, man.
No, facts. I agree. But let's. You know what I mean? But listen, in my opinion, right, there's no excuse for players. We can criticize players for missing penalties, right? No one's beyond criticism for missing a penalty. And in my opinion, you should not be missing penalties. Yes, the greatest players of all time have missed, but there's no excuse to not score from 12 yards, right?
Penalties in finals.
Messi, like the greatest players. The greatest players have missed penalties, so it can happen. But for me, a lot of people have been criticising Gareth Southgate bringing on Rashford and Sancho with seconds on, and I'd say I'm one of those people, because I think if for example you're somebody like Jadon Sancho, you clearly know that the manager doesn't fancy you. Let's keep it a buck. Let's not beat around the bush here. He doesn't fancy Sancho. Out of the 7 games, he started 1, played 7 minutes in the second game, I think, or something like that. So he clearly does not fancy him. So you know you don't have the confidence of the manager already, right? You know that from the gate. And he turns to you with 3 minutes on the clock, extra time, and says, right, go on. You can't say no. You got to go on, right? So even Jose said it, like, you're not even warmed up into the game. You haven't even had a feel of the ball, and you're being thrown in there. And the fate of the universe is on. The fate of the universe is on the line.
I don't think Sancho registered a touch.
So it's like, the occasion is hard enough, right? I can't even imagine the occasion. People are trying to liken it to, would you have a problem if Saka was taking a Champions League penalty for Arsenal? Let's not liken penalties for your club with a penalty at Wembley in a home final to win the Euros first time in, like, come on, you can't even imagine that level of pressure. And I just don't think you're aiding them by throwing them in that late. They haven't even warmed into the game. They clearly know that they don't even have your confidence. Well, certainly in Jadon Sancho's case. And then just look at the penalties. The penalties were the most timid, safe penalties you will ever see.
They played.
I'd sooner rather a man.
Like they knew England haven't won for 55 years.
Exactly. They the magnitude.
It stuck them up.
Yeah. So they went with a safe option. You know, the open your body, side foot, try get it on, and it's just like, nah. You could tell that the occasion.
I can't disagree with it. I think I'm one of the people that was saying, yes, Rash is coming off of pens. So I can't turn around now and be like, oh, Southgate, man, what are you doing? I was in favour for that. When I saw Sancho, I was like, oh, okay. he was obviously coming on for pens. I wasn't too confident about Sancho, right? I'm not gonna lie. I did not expect Saka to even take a pen, but Rashford, I'm not gonna lie, I was here for it. So if he has the same confidence in Sancho to do it, I understand. I'm not gonna lie. I gotta just disagree with that one. I do think it's fine to just say to someone, look, you gotta take a penalty. You're one of the better penalty takers. You gotta take it. Boom.
What did you make of Saka fifth penalty
now
taker?
that, right? Look. Now that I think is a madness.
That's crazy.
Now that's a madness. Even
Can
though,
we agree? Can we
wait,
agree? Fifth is mad.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. The reason why I think Saka's taken fifth was a madness is because I feel like the number 1 penalty and the 5th penalty should be your best takers. Rashford missed at number 3, but I think either Rashford should have been 1 or Kane should have been 5. Or one of the two. Them two should have been. You set the team on the way, give everyone the confidence, and then you win the game for the team. That's how I think the penalty shake. That's just personally what I think.
Because the 5th penalty is always the most decisive one.
The 5th penalty is always usually the decisive one. So when it comes on Saka, look, and a lot of people are talking about age. I'm not here for the age thing. I don't really care about the age thing because I'll be real. If 19-year-old Wayne Rooney stepped up for that, I'll be like, yeah, go on, bro. I think you're gonna bag. If Haaland stepped up for that, I'll be like, go on, bro. I think you're gonna bag. Even if Trent Alexander-Arnold did, I would have been like, yeah, I got confidence in you. But Saka, I think maybe because of his personality, quiet boy, church boy, I just think when I look at that, I just don't have confidence in him to take the 5th. And that's no disrespect to Saka, because whether he took the 3rd, whatever, but the 5th, the biggest penalty in the history of England national team is on Saka.
That's weird.
It's more not about his age. It's more about his experience. The guy has never taken a penalty for Arsenal in his life.
Fact.
And now he's taking the biggest penalty in England history.
Why don't...
That's for me, that's a bad decision from Southgate. Because Southgate said he assigned the penalty takers. So I won't go too much about age. As I said, if it was Owen, if it was Rooney, if it was Haaland, if it was Mbappe missed, but if it was, I'll be still confident going in with these guys. But
even these players that you're naming, they're vastly more experienced. And like Rooney, you can't liken a 19-year-old Rooney. 19-year-old Rooney was already world class.
But this is the thing: people are not talking about. People are not talking about
but I think
experience. Now you're saying the word experience, and now we're having a different conversation. People are saying age.
No, I don't think.
If you're talking about experience, then fair enough, because he's got no experience taking penalties.
I think
but
when
his age doesn't matter. He's 19. That's fine.
I think when they're mentioning his age, they're mentioning it under the fact that he's a relatively inexperienced player. Like you said, he's never taken a senior penalty.
That's
ever,
the problem,
right? So you can't liken him to a like I said, Wayne Rooney was world class at 19. 2005, he was world class, deciding games for Man United at the highest level, Champions League. He was already a world class performer. Haaland's been doing it for years. Mbappe, but with Saka, the weirdest thing was, okay, say everyone scores their penalties, and it falls to him to keep England in the tournament. Well, that's what transpired. But say everyone had scored, because he even came under the device that a few people had missed already. Imagine everyone had scored. It would have been even more pressure. So it's just going into it like that, thinking, how do you put this kid who you know is not a regular penalty taker at club level? He's never taken one. Who decides to put him 5th?
I don't get that.
As
I don't get
the
that
most decisive penalty. Not only that, it wouldn't even be a matter of if he missed, then Pickford has a chance to save the following one. Because if I'm wait, did Kane go first?
Kane went first. Yeah.
Okay,
which is fine. If Kane wants to go first, cool. Then Rash has to go 5. If Rash goes first, then Kane has to go 5. In my opinion, and I know, yes, you can get situations like Cristiano Ronaldo. I think it was against Spain where he didn't end up even taking one because he was number 5.
But we know why that is though. That's I don't think that's so much to do with the selection and the team. That's
you think he wants to be the hero?
That's just your man wanting. That's just him. And
I don't know, because Jorginho took the 5th. Jorginho took the 5th against who's the team that they played the other day? Spain. Yeah, he took the 5th because he's the best penalty taker. If I'm walking into the if I'm the Italy team and we've got 4 and I'm walking up and I'm seeing Jorginho, is walking up to number 5. I'm saying, yeah, it's coming Rome, bro. It's coming.
So you think it's more important to have your
who took his first?
Belotti, I think he missed, right?
No, Belotti took the second. I think their first penalty was Bonucci, was it?
No, he was 3rd.
Who was their first penalty taker? I'm sure it was Belotti.
No, he was 2nd.
I don't even remember.
Bernardeschi was fourth. He was a really nice penalty, straight down the middle.
Did Berardi take one? Berardi.
Yeah.
Berardi. And how many? Do you know how many penalties Berardi's taken in his career? Over 40. So Italy said the best penalty takers are gonna take them. So England just said, "Oh, do you want his vibes?"
Would you put your best penalty taker first or fifth? I think it's more important to get off to a good start personally. I'd sooner put my best penalty taker first.
It can work both ways because remember when Pirlo dinked Joe Hart in 2012? Yeah. He was the first penalty, and
he was not first.
I think that was the first penalty.
No way.
Look, I think it was the first.
He wasn't. He definitely wasn't.
I remember the Italy players saying that just cooled them down. Imagine just seeing a guy just dink it. I'm gonna go in my penalty. I might even dink it. Yeah, I'm trying. You know what I mean? I might even dink it, bro. So
I think he said he saw Hart doing the most on his line.
Yeah.
It's a humble.
So listen, for me, yeah, it's quality. But for me, I just think that was the bad decision. I'm not one of them ones that talking about so much about age, but listen, the racial abuse and stuff after that it's unacceptable. And listen, those players might have been thinking about that because let's be real, every single player in the country, every single fan in the country. When them man were walking up, you were thinking, miss, and you are about to get the racism from the history of racism.
I'll be honest,
and
I was not thinking that.
You weren't thinking that.
I'll be honest.
I think the players might have been thinking that too. But don't get twisted. I'm not one of them guys people are turning around and saying, Southgate set up the blacks. No, let's not.
To be honest, it was only...
Southgate's a top man.
It was only after that it sort of... I deep I was like, oh, the black players missed. It was only after. Like, I wasn't thinking that when I was watching it. Listen, I thought the selection of the players to take the penalties was strange anyway. But the racist abuse is
it's unacceptable at the end of the day, innit? But bro, at the end of the day, it's social media trolling. I'm seeing random names. I'm seeing random people of all ethnicities throwing the racial abuse things and stuff. I'm just like, listen. Let me not even get into some controversial. I don't even want to get cancelled myself, but I'm telling you now, like some of the stuff that I see, and it's not going to end. And the thing is, it's going to go back to it's going to go into the clubs. It started with the clubs, but it's going to continue.
I don't even think that a lot of the racial abuse is real. In terms of when you're seeing these trolls in the comments, I don't
fake
think,
accounts and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think that's real. I just think it's a bunch of bored people knowing that it's gonna get traction. Knowing that they can.
No matter what, it's gonna get traction.
Yeah, they're gonna. I reckon the real race, the stuff that we should really be criticizing and the people that we really should be holding accountable are, senior figures, whether it be politicians or these journalists that put out these articles. Those are the ones that we really need to go back. Not these kids. In footballers' comment section, I don't think that's.
They need to find a way of combating it. My thing is we're debating about who should be 1, who should be 5, who should whatever. I think a manager shouldn't have any say in who takes the penalties. I think a manager, when it comes to penalty shootouts,
take a step back.
Should go to the players, tap them on the back.
I'm
with you, man. No matter what, I'm with you. Harry Kane, get in the middle. We know you're going to take a penalty. Ask, who's on it? Who's on it? Then I even think players will be more confident to say it to another player than to the manager. Like, I want it. So at that point, I feel like that's a player thing. You don't need tactics to penalties. I don't need my manager orchestrating how penalties are going to be. It's just you v Donnarumma. That's it. For me, it should have been the players take control. Who's confident? Who's on it? We might have had some surprise names walk up. John Stones might have been like, yo, I'm feeling it. I'm going to take. Saka in that moment could have been like, he could have been at the back of the room. Listen, like, I ain't on it. But all of a sudden, your gaffer's coming to you with paper saying, yeah. Go on, mate.
I kind of agree. I don't think...
Like, if he turned around, I said it. If he turns around and says, Gareth, I'm not on it, man. No, I'm not on it. And then he says, all right, Jack, you're taking. And now Jack goes and misses. Saka, see you later, mate. You should have declared for Nigeria because you're not playing again for England. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because Southgate will be like, you let us all down by boiling it like that. So for me, it should be who is the most on it. Who is the confident one? Because penalties is mainly about bottle, bro.
Yeah. And
it's
also
bottle. Rashford admitted, basically, have you seen his speech since he since the thing. You know, his long.
Yeah.
He basically admitted he was bottled it. He basically was like,
scored
I was
these.
double thinking myself. I was double thinking
long
when I
walk.
came on. I had a bad season. I wasn't feeling confident. When the whistle went, I tried to give myself thinking time because, bro, he was
stood
standing
there for like
still.
10 seconds,
I
bro.
thought the ref hadn't even blown the whistle. That's
Yeah.
how long he was waiting.
Yeah.
So it was a thing, as in Rashford basically admitted he wasn't up for it, bro.
But this speaks to, you know, you guys saying that you should have the. I mean, there's been suggestions that you should have the lists preset prior to before even the game starts. You already know if this goes to penalties, hopefully we'll have these man on, barring injury and all that, and we can sub these guys on. So this idea that Sancho and Rashford were subbed on specifically because they were one of the top 5 amongst the first 5 taking penalties, I'm not a big fan of that because in 120 minutes anything can happen. If you're not having a great game, if for whatever reason you're just not up for it like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm
Let
saying?
me read you something.
So
bro.
I do think that the best way to do it is just ask them, like, yo, who fancies it? Who's up for this?
I'm gonna read you
Who's feeling
something, yeah. England, yeah. So if it was like United or Chelsea or something, if it was United, I'm just gonna say because we're United fans. I know no matter what, because we have set penalty take. You know your set penalty takers. Pogba is gonna take one. Well, he should anyway.
Rashford,
Bruno. Rashford. He was off the pitch. Yeah, he was off the pitch. Yeah, he was off the pitch. Pogba, Bruno, Rashford, probably Cavani, and if Greenwood's on the pitch, I think he might step up. Or you might throw somebody. Maybe one might go to a dubious player. Maybe Maguire might step up. Yeah, because after his penalty, that was the best penalty I've ever seen. But it might get to that level where it's like, okay, maybe one player, right? So, but look at England. Grealish has taken 1 penalty in his career. Saka 0, Maguire 0, Sancho 3, Rashford 14, Kane 40 plus, Sterling 5, missed 3, Stone 0, Shaw 0, Phillips 0. At that point, you just got to ask them who's confident.
up for it, yeah.
You can't. There's no tactics to
trust.
that. They're not even. They can't take. They don't take.
There's
10.
no evidence to suggest that anyone is gonna, you know.
It's got to just be a confidence thing. And then you look at Italy. Belotti 31 penalties. Bonucci has taken 1, but he always takes in their shootouts. Berardi 41, Bernardeschi 12, Jorginho
Immobile
33.
He was off the pitch.
Immobile was off the pitch.
Immobile's
He'd probably
penalty
taken
stats are stupid. Like, he doesn't miss.
These are experienced guys against a bunch of inexperienced guys who have now been designated. You have to take that pen.
So here's a question.
I just think penalties is penalties, but
here's a
Southgate
question.
shouldn't have got involved.
Here's a question. Knowing all of that, and seeing this man mountain of a guy in goal, Donnarumma, who's never lost a career penalty shootout.
40% save rate.
He's never lost a career penalty shootout. Knowing all of that, wouldn't it be in England's best interest to not get to... These men are playing like, yeah, we're up for penalties.
Yeah, that's the bigger picture.
Let's play out. Extra time. We'll go through the motions. We'll sub on a couple of these Donnies and then we'll just win it.
And let's not
knowing
forget-
that, you should know that, yo, if this goes to penalties... We're not really built like that. Like those stats you just said, they'll know better than anyone. Like we don't have a record of you know, established penalty takers. Bar Kane, maybe Rashford. Bar them two, the rest of these guys don't take penalties. And then you look at the Italian side. You look at Donnarumma, who takes up the majority of the goal, and you know he's never lost a penalty shootout. And they've just won a penalty shootout in the round before. Surely all of these things go into your mind and say, our best chance of winning this tournament, winning this cup, is to win it before it gets to penalties.
That's the bigger
Surely.
picture.
But we won a
Especially when...
penalty shootout though.
No, but-
against Colombia.
Yeah, but that was the
That's-
first. That was
come
our
on, man.
first. When you consider England's
3 years
history
ago.
of penalties, Jesus
But
Christ.
let me play devil's advocate. Yeah, Donnarumma and Pickford saved the same amount of penalties.
Yeah,
True,
yeah,
but-
no,
okay.
England,
If you save 2 penalties, like if I came to you before anything, I said your keeper's gonna save 2 of the first 5.
you're confident.
You're gonna be telling me, I think we've won that
yeah,
shootout.
of course.
So at
Hear
the
me out,
same
hear me
time,
out.
you got to look at it from both
do you
sides.
not
How
think,
I see it
do you
is-
not think Rashford's hesitance in that penalty has anything to do with the keeper? Do you not think Sancho's feeble penalty has anything to... I think it does. You're looking at this guy.
Apparently, all of Sancho. I
You're
can't
looking at him,
verify
bro.
this, but the 3 penalties that Sancho has taken, he's gone the same way every time. Apparently, Donnarumma probably knew that.
I just think Donnarumma, like he's...
But most keepers are big, man.
No.
Man, there's an aura about this guy, bro. Like you're walking up to take it, and he's just getting bigger. And I don't know. I think there's Pickford looks small in goal. How tall is he? He's not a particularly.
He's a little erratic guy, man.
He's not a particularly
Say
tall
something.
keeper. How tall is he?
He's like
1,
6'1",
2, maybe.
6'1", I think.
There you go. He's not. He's not.
I don't think he's taller than. He's not taller than Maguire.
I see him with Kane, and he looks smaller than Kane.
Yeah.
So he's not. He doesn't take
Yeah,
I
but you
don't
know
know,
he's a madman. He'll do something. I had faith in Pickford. I'm not gonna lie. I
was so shocked he saved Jorginho's penalty.
Bro,
That was a great
Pickford,
save.
man,
also.
had a good tournament, man. But just to like finalize on the penalties and stuff, like England's history of penalties is awful, man. You shouldn't want to go penalties.
Exactly. These men are
Like,
playing like they've got an
historically-
established history of winning penalty shootouts.
How many
You don't want it
penalties?
to get to penalties. Play like that. Someone these Donnies early.
new players.
Try win the game.
Hey, but burdens, man. There's burdens, bro. That follows. All we've seen in every before every game is Southgate has missed his penalty.
David Batty.
David
you know,
Batty,
yeah.
Stuart Pearce, redemption tour, and then Beckham, and then he missed his against Argentina. And bro, it's like, brother, we're the worst country of all time at penalty shootouts. Yeah, so it just follows us again, bro. And that's it, I guess. But let's move on from there, man. Like, overall, I think it was a really good tournament, bro. I think it was the best Euro since 2008. I liked this Euro. I'm not going to lie. I really liked it. And I'm not only saying it because England went far, because in 2008, England weren't even in the competition.
Yeah, thanks.
So it's not like I'm being biased or anything. I actually think it was a really good tournament. 2012 was dry, man. 2016 was a terrible tournament, in my opinion. Yeah, bro, I think it was a really good tournament overall. And for me, that's somebody that says the game is declining, football's dead. I think it was a good tournament. No.
Refereeing was a big factor.
Yeah, because they had a couple lieutenants referees this tournament. They need to bring them to the
Letting
Prem.
the game go.
Yeah, bro.
I see man just trying to drop easy. They're like,
Yeah. Even one time, Grealish dropped. Ref just looked at him like, I was like, Stuart Atwell would have given that. You know what I mean, in the Premier League. But as somebody that's very intact with wonder kids and youth football and all that type of stuff, I feel like the one thing that this tournament lacked was like a youth breakout kind of star, in my opinion. I feel like we all know about Pedri before. Pedri is great.
But do we though?
But he's in Barcelona, innit? Everyone sees Barcelona play football.
Not everyone knew about Pedri. A lot of people
need to pay for the zone, innit?
A lot of people don't really know because Pedri. Because we live in an age now where everyone's obsessed with stats. Like, you know, everyone's obsessed with stats, and Pedri's not a player who stands out on the stat sheet. You're not going to pull up his assists and his goals and think, "Whoa, this guy." You have to appreciate him. You have to actually watch him. Those who watch Pedri, and I'm of the opinion that many people don't really watch football. You know, they check the scores, see who got the assists, and look at the stats. So many people aren't really aware of Pedri, but I think he was definitely one of the breakouts. I think Alexander Isaac had a decent tournament. Damsgaard had a good tournament.
Isaac had the average tournament, man.
He
had one run against some farmers. I don't remember who it was against.
he had a decent tournament. He showed glimpses. Obviously, Pedri was... Damsgaard was good.
Damsgaard and Pedri. But how old is Damsgaard? 21?
21, yeah.
Damsgaard and Pedri, I think, you know,
Pedri is unreal, bro.
18.
He's ridiculous.
Young player of the tournament, 100%.
And he plays with this... You know those dudes that play... Not that they want to show you that they're good, but it almost be like, all right, come close me down and I'll show you that next time you just stand off and let me do my thing. You'll get humiliated here. Like, he almost... He wants the ball in these tight positions. He's just a ridiculously gifted player.
They're calling him the next Iniesta.
I mean, they've been calling him that for 2 years, and I mean, Pepe Mel said that years ago, and he was widely criticised. I mean, it's unfair to label him the next Iniesta because Iniesta is one of the greatest players of all. In my opinion, he's the greatest Spanish player ever. In my opinion, people say Xavi. I think Iniesta's.
I like Xavi.
I reckon if we didn't live in a world of Lionel Messi, Iniesta would have a few Ballon d'Ors. There's an argument to suggest he should have won the 2010 or 2011 one. Let's not go down that road. But
Messi's
Iniesta,
goals and stuff helped them as well.
Yeah, but Iniesta is a Ballon d'Or caliber player in a world that the consensus GOAT doesn't exist in. So it's hard to start labeling he was 16 then, to start labeling an 18-year-old as the next Iniesta. But Pedri is ridiculous. If you look at even if you look at how integral he is for his club and country at such a young age, the only player that played more minutes than him last season for Barcelona was Messi. He was literally undroppable. I think he played 57 games for club and country, started like 47 or something. So this is a guy who starts and he plays the whole game. He doesn't. He's not somebody who's coming off the bench, or he's literally he's so integral to both his club and country at such a young age. It's absurd.
Where would you have him in terms of like the best young players and stuff? Like, do you have him like, because obviously in this country we got like Fodens and Greenwoods and Sancho and Saka and stuff. and most people would see them guys and think, you know, they're the best of the best and whatever. And you look at what Foden was doing in the Champions League, for example. I know Foden's 3 years older than him, but I like to look at it like, you know, under 21, you know, under 22, whatever. You look at what Foden was doing in the Champions League and stuff. Do you have Foden as a better player than Pedri? Or like, where would you have Pedri in this kind of you young, like, golden boys? Let's say Haaland is gone, because I think he's a monster. Yeah. The rest of then I think after Haaland and Mbappe, I don't want to keep saying Mbappe now.
Mbappe's a big man now.
I see you as a man now. Yeah, I'm saying.
Man.
So forget Mbappe, but you got Haaland for me is like 1. And then I think you've got a cluster of really good tier 2s. Foden, Greenwood, Pedri, Havertz. Who else am I? Who else? Sancho.
But interestingly,
João Felix, he's in a bad situation.
All the players you're naming, they're all attacking players. Pedri's not an attacking player, so it's hard to, you know, it's hard to rank him amongst, like, every single player you name bar Pedri is an attacking player. So it's hard to rank him amongst them.
What about ceiling?
Ooh.
Do you think he's got a better ceiling than a Foden? Do you think he's got a better ceiling than a Greenwood, than a Sancho, than a Haaland, if you want to put him in that rank? You know what I mean? Because I look at them as like tier 2, then I think about tier 3s of maybe like Camavinga and Saka for me personally. Who else is there?
I mean,
there's probably loads more that I'm missing out, but you know what I'm trying to say.
In terms of ceiling,
because when you get young player of the tournament, you're in good like rankings, man. Ronaldo was a young player of the tournament once upon a time. No, was it Wayne Rooney or was it Ronaldo? I don't know who won it in 2004.
Ronaldo was World Cup young player of the tournament, if I'm not mistaken.
Was he? Well, there we go.
2006.
Is it? Well, all I know, he was in the team of the tournament, and Rooney was. So, and they blew it up. So that's 2 massive feats. Then you got. I think Pogba won it in World Cup 2014. You've got like this. Like, if you win that kind of level of the golden young boy or whatever, history says you're gonna go and have a good little career. What was it? Renato in 2016. All right, he stalled, but he made a good account of himself this tournament.
I mean, Renato is a classic case of moving,
too
and fast. You're gonna see this a lot more, because it's almost a catch-22. You either grab him now when he's clearly not ready, or you let him get ready and you pay triple. So what you do? So clubs are going to pay these crazy fees to grab these players when they're not ready to move. Renato Sanchez had come off not even a full season at Benfica. He came into the team not halfway through the season, but, you know, he didn't have a full season. Then he went and he lit up the tournament. Bayern thought, if we don't grab him now, I mean, you see with
They tried it with Cho. They tried to do the exact same thing basically with Cho at Chelsea, but since we're talking about best players and stuff, who would you have as, like, you know, the best, let's say top 5 players of this tournament? Like, the guys that you think were the very, very best all round. Let's start from, where should we start? From top to bottom? Let's start from 5. I think there was a lot of players that balled. I think
Sterling's in there for me.
Sterling for me is in the, I have him in the top 2 for how important he was.
Sterling, he also played like he was almost carrying the team. You know, there were. I mean, some people would criticize him for trying too hard. But I think
stop it, man.
Yeah, I think no. Like, he'd get the ball and he'd want to make things happen. You don't see that too often now. You know, you see people criticizing.
You got guys like Jota that just want to jump at the back post.
Yeah, you see people.
You know what I'm trying to say? So
you
look at the difference between Jota and Sterling. It's night and day.
I mean, for me, the art of, like, you know, players who would take players on, they're so rare now. You don't even see these sort of players anymore who get the ball and just want to give you hell. You know, they're becoming more and more rare. So to see Sterling actually, even the opening goal against Germany, if he's not playing on the front foot as he is, that goal doesn't happen. He literally picks it up and thinks, nah, I'm gonna drive at you, man. Create a bit of panic, slip it off to Kane, shift it wide, get in the box, and then they've scored. So for me, Sterling has to. He's definitely in a top 5.
I've got Sterling top 2 in my opinion. I've got.
I mean, if England had won, he would have been player of the tournament.
Exactly, and one thing about the Sterling situation is that, and it's me as well. I went into this tournament saying, can't start Sterling. Now, I did not go that far to say he should not play. People were saying he shouldn't come. I mean, shouldn't fly. That's too far. But I was one of the people that said Sterling shouldn't start
because he didn't have a great season.
He didn't have a great season, and in the tournaments that he's played in England, he hadn't scored, and a lot of the times it kind of looked like the game would always bypass him. And I thought, people got to remember as well, Sterling was a Golden Boy winner at Liverpool. He's actually a European Golden Boy. He's a prestigious young talent, right? So at Liverpool, he used to show signs of taking people on. Like the Sterling at QPR in Liverpool, he'll take you on for fun. But then he got to City under Pep and stuff. And, you know, Pep might take away a bit of your individualism, but he's going to make you a productive machine. And I think it started becoming a thing, as in when you take Sterling away from Pep, it started looking a bit like, oh, he's a Pep player. You know what I mean? Like he's gone into this kind of robotic mode. But because Sterling now walked into this tournament where people were saying that, people like me were coming up and saying that on podcasts and all this type of stuff, that nah, you know, like he came with a vengeance, bro. He came with vengeance, and he just said, you know what, I'm going to show people what I can do. And I can't say his individualism surprised me because I've seen it at Liverpool, but I defo didn't expect that this tournament, bro. Like he was showing completely the most dribbles in the whole tournament.
Yeah, every time he got it, he wanted to make something happen.
He really put to bed the whole he's a system player, because he showed he's not a system player. So credit to him. He put to bed what people were criticizing him for, and that's what you got to do, man. And I respect it, bro, highly, because it made me eat my words.
But that's the reason your man Grealish didn't get any game time, because if Grealish gets in that team, he has to get in at left wing. That's his position. He plays in the same position as Raheem. And
oh man, let's not even get back into that misuse of Grealish. But all right, let's go. So I got Jorginho as player of the tournament.
I'm not sure about this.
Who you got?
I mean,
I do think Verratti, when Verratti had good games, it was better than Jorginho's good games. But I think Jorginho was the constant in that team, always making it work. Whether it was Locatelli beside him, Verratti, it doesn't matter. He's going to continue doing his thing. And I think that's why I've got him in there. He's integral to Mancini. Mancini, he's played the most minutes and the most games under Mancini out of any player.
He seems to be integral to all the managers he plays under. They all seem to really...
If they have that mind for technical players, Jorginho is good. Because you look at Sarri, he loved that. He struggled in his first season at Chelsea, but at Napoli, that was his core. That was his key man. Mancini, Tuchel.
Pep wanted him.
Yeah, by all accounts, Pep wanted him.
But Pep wanted Fred, so you know what I mean? So you don't really know.
Yeah.
You don't really know sometimes. You know what I'm trying to say? He might have swindled. I don't know what Pep's doing sometimes. But I've got Jorginho. Who you got?
Player of the season.
Player
of the tournament. I mean, I didn't disagree with Donnarumma.
Serious?
Yeah, I didn't disagree with it.
I think Pen Hype got him that.
Nah,
Yeah, I think Pen Hype, man.
I don't think so. Like,
He had a brick walls in front of him, and Bonucci in that.
We shouldn't underestimate the influence of having a keeper of that sort of caliber. Like he just sets everyone else at ease. You know what I'm saying? Like even his whole demeanor, it just calms everyone. Then you got your man Pickford who throws his legs in the air with every save.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But Pickford sometimes,
brother, he just
team with nerves.
Everyone's on edge thinking, what's this guy gonna do? And every time he saves, he's shouting at somebody. Every single time he makes a save and he's
yeah.
Or he picks it up and he's like, like relax. And you see Donnarumma's just calm. Plucks it out of the air, launches a counter attack. Like he's gonna be around forever. To think PSG got him.
He's already a vet. He's a 6-year vet.
I mean, he was Milan's first choice goalkeeper at 16. That's absurd. Think of that.
He's a
16 broke into the team,
bro,
and he's been in there ever since. So,
bro, do you know what I'm saying? 6-year vet. That is crazy, bro. Nah, so what, you got him as player of the tournament, yeah? You agree?
Yeah, I didn't. When I heard him announced as player of the tournament, I didn't disagree. I didn't think this is a scandal. I thought, I can... And it's about time keepers got love, because I reckon a lot of the times...
Keeper hype. Manuel Neuer got top 3 in Ballon d'Or, bruv.
I mean, that's because...
too much love.
That's because Germany won the World Cup and they were looking, thinking, right, who are we going to...
Sweeper keeper.
Who can we possibly give it to? But...
Who else do you have in the top 5? I've got... It's tough. I think Bonucci was good again. I think Bonucci was really good. I think Maguire was unbelievable. I think
Maguire was fantastic.
It's hard. What's my man's name? Mailer? Is it Mailer?
Denmark.
But only thing about him is that he let himself on because Sterling battered him, bro. Like that was the only bit where I was like, you know what I mean? That's why I give Shaw the nod over you, because Sterling cooked him. I mean, on the highest level. He cooked him, but he's got the assist of the tournament, so he can walk with that. That outside the boot was That was a madness. But
He was a striker. Lukaku got the nod up front, team of the season, right?
did he?
Yeah. The head of
Ahead of
CR7
Schick.
and ahead of Schick.
Ahead of Schick. Nah, it should have been Schick, man. Come on. I swear he scored in every game they scored in or something. Something.
5 goals.
Got 5 goals.
How many
Scored the
did
best
Lukaku
goal
get?
of the
3?
tournament.
4?
Lukaku got 4, I think. Yeah, I think he got 4.
Ronaldo won Golden Boot.
Yeah, joint with Schick, but they ain't mentioning it for some reason. Or is it because he played less games?
No. Ronaldo got the
Is it done
assists.
a minute? Oh,
No,
the one assist
got the
him in.
assists. So I mean, the last Euros, I think he lost out on assists. So I think maybe,
Yeah.
or maybe it was 2012. There was a Euros where he lost out on the Golden Boot because of the
he didn't get
assists.
assist. Oh, that's
So this
crazy.
time he got the assist. But
He
yeah,
got
he didn't get in the
most
team of the
goals
season because I think 3 of his 5 goals were penalties.
And he went out early, man. That's just because he's a goat. We're forcing him in, man. Schick, come on, man.
Only one round
Schick
earlier
was-
than Lukaku, though, right?
Yeah, but Schick was the part of the team that knocked out Holland. No one expected Czech Republic to beat Holland. I think the only team he didn't score against was England. He scored from the halfway line. Like, come on, man. Schick
He had a good
deserves some
tournament.
clout.
Yeah, the tournament.
100%. But anyway, I don't have him in my top 5 players. I got Jorginho, I got Sterling. I've got. It's tough between Bonucci, Maguire, and Shaw. I think those are good players, man.
What about Chiesa?
Yeah,
He didn't really- he didn't start- he didn't start- he
We
didn't
could say
start
half
really.
of Italy's team, man. Bonucci, Verratti, Chiellini, Chiesa.
Chiesa was
Yeah.
for me. Chiesa was their best attacking player
Yeah.
for sure. Insigne scored a great goal. It was against.
Meaty guy,
It
bro.
was scored a great goal against Belgium. Even though I think the defenders they were going to back up until they were in the net, but they should have they should have engaged. But it was a great goal. But bar that, I think Chiesa, he like you said about Sterling, he picks up the ball and gives you hell.
Yeah, he does.
He left.
does.
Declan was trying it,
England's
brushed off Declan, drove into the box. He probably should have scored. He just screwed it wide. Even when he picked it up on the left, drove into the box, dummied a couple times, then pinged it low, and Pickford got the So every time he picked up the ball, he was trying to be, and he scored
Direct.
important goals as well. So yeah, Chiesa, he's definitely a shot. He was easily
tournament.
Italy's best attacker for sure.
Yeah.
Because Immobile stunk out the joint.
Kyle Walker was in there, but I don't think he was in team tournament. I think he defended well, but I don't think he was in the what's the word? I don't think he was one of the best players of the tournament, but he defended well, like
I thought Kyle
better
Walker had
than
a
he
good
is.
tournament.
Yeah, on the ball he was a bit shaky in my opinion, but I think defensively he was good. I mean,
like
most of it will probably be between England and Italy players. You'd probably say you might throw in a few, Mailer and. What's my man Højbjerg? I think had a really good tournament. Obviously, Pogba went out too early, but he had a really good
Pogba
tournament
was
in my opinion.
balling up
So,
until they went out. Pogba was balling up until they went out.
he's the only player that for France that turned up.
He was playing.
You know what I mean?
Some
You
of
look
them,
at some of the French players. Jesus,
like Pogba. Man, listen,
Kim Pembe.
Pogba's a frustrate.
fucking hell.
He's a frustrating. He's a frustrating character because, like, I've always been of the opinion that Pogba isn't. He's not the superstar of the team. He's not the guy. He's not the
But
guy.
what? Let me. But wait. Let me.
you get
let me
get
ask
players
you a
who
question.
are the guy, and then you get
Yeah.
other players who the spotlight has to be on other people, and then just let him do his thing. He doesn't need to be heavily scrutinized. He's not gonna. At United, they bought him expecting him to be the guy. You can't make a. That's not his personality.
Can you make a centre midfielder who plays just centre mid in a pivot, for example, or wherever he plays, centre midfielder? How many centre mids do you think can be match-winning centre points for a football club?
I mean, loads.
Who?
Gerrard.
Gerrard didn't play centre mid most of his prime.
Oh, and no, yes, he did. What was Gerrard's prime? I
Gerrard-
dare you to say 2009. I dare you to
If
say
you say
2009.
2005, he was right mid.
No, he wasn't.
He was though.
He was not.
He
Gerrard
was
was
Hamann.
never a winger. I don't care where.
Hamann and
like,
Alonso was centre mid.
nah. Gerrard was never a winger, bro.
Iniesta's a 10 though. And Iniesta, come on, Messi was the man.
Barca, Spain, I think he was.
Oh, but Jesus Christ, they had Silva, they had Messi, they had
Well,
Iniesta, they had Fabregas, they had Silva. It was too stacked.
There were loads of central
was
midfielders
too
that are the centre points of teams, bro.
That can
I think so.
match winning centre points.
Zidane is Spain a diamond.
Maybe, yeah, but okay, you can say even Zidane. I think he was still a bit at the most advanced, but fair enough.
Yeah,
Zidane
definitely
is
more
a
attacking.
godlike, is a
Yeah,
godly player.
clear.
I think it's tough to say. So I think a centre mid needs to have good parts around them, or to be. And it's not excusing what Pogba, because I'm critical of Pogba, so it's not anything. But I think to be like the match-winning kind of driving force and of a team, it's hard. It will be hard because you think his best. At Juventus, he was even playing in the most advanced behind
Vidal, Pirlo,
and he was that stardust amongst the team. But at United, I think it's hard for him to be the glue and the match winner at the same time. Yeah, I'm trying to say, I prefer him at United. I prefer him at United on the wing more than I do in the centre midfield.
Nah.
I'm not even joking, bro. Bro, when he's doing all of that, I like him there. But a lot of people don't like it. But I think he's better on the wing than
his performances for France. Like some of the passes, it was just slicing defenses, pinging it. You're thinking this kid has it all.
Yeah. When he's on
ability wise, he clears. I was telling production, all of these former central midfielders that criticize Pogba, ability wise, he clears them all.
Yeah, Lampard said that.
Technically, none of them can see him. But I think with Pogba, we expect him to be something that he's not. He's never going to be the guy that rolls up his sleeves and drags the team. Like, that's not him. Like, personality wise, that's not him. That is, his personality does not suggest that he's gonna pick up guys and you know what I'm saying. He's not a leader. He's not a captain. Whereas at United, the idea was, well, most expensive player of all time. We're gonna build a team around him. He's gonna carry United. So that's not him.
I don't think United put. I don't think United put and I've seen it happen with other players. I don't think we put the best pieces around these kind of players. You get Maguire, 80-something million, world record fee for a defender. Now you're like, oh, but he's beside Lindelof. He needs someone else. He needs pace. Yeah, you get Pogba. You put him beside Fellaini, Herrera, McTominay, Fred, or whatever. You get. I think this is why I'm scared. Why do you think I'm damn scared for Sancho, bro? I fear for that youth's career now that he joined Man United.
But to be fair, Sancho's coming into a far better team. Going forward, at least.
Last question.
If you look at this United team over the next couple of years, you're far more positive and optimistic than. Look at the team Pogba came into. Within a year or so, your man Jose had gone, and you're looking at thinking, what are you guys really doing here? But I reckon Sancho's going to go into a team. He's going to have. Yeah, he's got a few guys that are going to go to war with him.
All right. Last question is, because, you know, there was obviously some major disappointments at this tournament. Who's the player that kind of like, what should I say, like disappointed you the most? Like, who's the person that you look at and you're just like, nah, you didn't grasp the moment?
Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah.
Without question, Kylian Mbappe. Because this is the first ever time he's actually been under pressure. From the moment we saw Mbappe, nothing was expected of him. Came on the scene at Monaco. Young kid thrown in there, him, Falcao, Bernardo, all of these guys, they win the league. Then he's thrown into the French team, so he's coming in with no pressure, the fearlessness of youth, wins the biggest tournament that he could possibly win. Whereas now, he's established as one of the best players in the world. He's probably the most valuable player in the world. It's not potential anymore. We're looking at saying, yo, do something. And maybe we're not allowed to say it, but Mbappe,
it was flopped.
Mbappe, when, you know, in these last few years, I'd say, when the eyeballs are on him, he hasn't really come up trumps. Of course, he had the injury going into the Champions League final last season, so we give him a bye there, even though he missed the sitter that Noah saved to. You know, so we're looking at him, but definitely this tournament, even when Pogba slides him in against Switzerland, you're looking thinking, this is perfectly set up, right foot, far corner, you win the game. And he
I just think for me, I just think with Mbappe, he just went in, as I was saying, production. He just went into like that diva. Like, we know you're a great player. Like, we all know that. You know what I mean? And
great.
I think. Well, I mean, you're a great talent, or you've done your thing. I mean, look what he's done in his career so far. It's better than most guys at that age. Do you know what I'm trying to say? What? Think about it. What? I don't know. He's a World Cup winner at 18 and scored in the final. No, only Pele's done that.
Of course, but if we put aside, of course, we can't just put it aside, but bar that World Cup.
You're saying like he's just bullying the fronts. No, but come on, man. He scored over 20 Champions League goals. He scored a hat trick at the Camp Nou.
I'm never gonna. I'm not gonna.
Way harsh, innit?
I'm not gonna overly criticize Mbappe, but a lot of the feats that he's achieved at PSG, I think Anelka came out and said it recently, right? He could set the world on fire next season at PSG. We're always going to look and think, it's PSG.
Don't think Anelka's the greatest guy to talk about moves.
True. But what? But he does make an interesting point. if I was to tell you right now, Kylian Mbappe scores 50 goals for PSG
you
next
won't
season, you're going to be like, kind of expected. He's probably going to score 40 of those in Ligue 1, right? So if I look at it like that, I wouldn't.
But you know he's a really good player.
Of
anyway,
course.
yeah, you know what he comes with. And I just think he walked into this tournament thinking, I got to put this team on my back for some reason. And it's not even that. Like, look, let's be... Okay, Giroud sent a little shot, like, people ain't passing to me. Fair enough, Giroud said that. For me, the way I see it is Giroud... All right, you say that, yeah. Okay, Mbappe's
consider himself
about...
fortunate to even be in the squad. Let's keep it a buck.
No, but he was an important part of the team that won for France.
Giroud earned his spot there.
That's what I'm saying. He was an important
He didn't even play for Chelsea last season.
Yeah, but look.
It's because what he's done throughout his time.
That's not how it works.
He's their all-time top goal scorer.
Exactly.
That's not how it works.
All right, but look, Giroud is part of the squad that won the World Cup, and he was an important part of that.
3 years
helping
ago.
these guys
Three
link up.
years
Yeah,
ago.
fair enough. But he's in the team. He says, my man, people ain't passing to me, whatever. Rumors say that Mbappe was fuming about it. Fair enough. You can be fuming about it. But then rumors again say that the team dealt with it internally. Deschamps dealt with it internally. Rumors again then say Mbappe decided to call his own presser to then just say Giroud, just to dig out Giroud's not got that energy when he saw me. Yeah. That's what he's saying. He ain't got that energy when he saw me. Blah, blah, blah. All this type of stuff. So already, again, rumors say that was already kind of a morale shifter in the camp. Patrick Vieira kept saying on ITV, this isn't a team. There's too many egos. This isn't... It was so clear what he was trying to say. This isn't a team. Then all of a sudden, it comes out that Mbappe has demanded that he's got to be on set pieces. I've never seen him. He's never scored a set piece in his life. Then I started seeing him on corner kicks and stuff. Then he was missing all the chances, bro. Missing all their chances that they were getting. He was missing. And then you missed the final penalty as well. All round, it was a disaster tournament. And then I'm not one to back Rabiot because Rabiot was crap himself and his mum moves mad to everyone. But
again, another one
she
who's
was
even
saying,
lucky
yo,
to
tell
be in
your
the
son to pattern up. Is she lying at that point?
Rabiot's another one who should consider himself lucky to even be in the squad. I don't know how he's in the squad.
He got dropped and then refused to play.
Yeah, I don't even know.
And he got called back up.
He seldom plays for Juve. I don't know how he... But look, you're right. I think Mbappe's 2 tournaments couldn't be more contrasting. These 2 major tournaments could not have been more contrasting. Set the world on fire, World Cup 2018. Scored a bunch of goals. 1 penalties, lit it up. Euro 2021, no goals, missed.
For me, I've got
so many
people were
opportunities.
angry when I said I put a lot of kind of, not blame, but I put a lot of like what happened down to just Mbappe not turning up, his the morale, the way he affected the morale and stuff. Some people don't like it, but
I think
I'm not going to change my mind.
I think it's too easy to say that because if let's keep it real. France were 3-1 up against Switzerland with 8 minutes to go. They did not lose that game. Oh, sorry, they didn't fail to see out that game because of team morale or whatever.
Yeah, but then Pogba puts you through. Bury it, please. Slicing it across the... Anyway. Yeah.
But before you lot finish, another one who was a big flop this tournament was Phil Foden. I've got to admit, he came with the haircut. I keep saying it in the group chat.
The moment he got that haircut, you just knew it was going to go left.
To play like David Batty.
Bro, not even that. Bro, he got Gazza's... Bro, Foden got that Gaza. I kept saying it. He got Gaza's trim. If you're going to get Gaza's trim, you got to play like Gaza at Spurs. You can't play like Gaza in the documentaries. You can't. You can't play like Eminem. He played like, maybe, what's his name? Aaron Carter from Backstreet Boys. You can't play like them.
Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, Macaulay Culkin, Home Alone. If you're gonna get that trim, you gotta come with.
To be fair,
I'm sorry, you got to.
I think he might have. I heard something to suggest that he might have misjudged that because apparently the trim he was going for was actually Sergio Aguero's trim. So he got Sergio had the silver blonde hybrid, whatever it was. So apparently that was the trim he was going for, but he just conveniently walked himself into home Euros, Wembley, Gaza, and next thing you know, I honestly I don't think he intended to get the gas going. I think he's smarter than to put that sort of pressure on himself. He doesn't strike me as the kind of kid who'd be like, you know what? I'm going to go get Gaza's trim to show that I'm going to light up this tournament. Yeah. I reckon he was going for the Aguero look, new trim. And he just walked into Gaza.
It is crazy how everyone embraced the trim, but some players, if they were to come with mad hairstyles, they'll get criticised. But Another one, it's got to be Mount. It's got to be Mount. I'm sorry, it's got to be Mount. He's got to be up there in my real disappointment. There's loads. Ruben Diaz, there's Mount, Foden, you can say. There's Rabiot, there's Mbappe. There's loads, but Jota, yeah, he's definitely my worst team in the tournament. But
Yeah, Jota he didn't cover himself.
yeah, there's loads. We could make a worst 11.
Ronaldo's
Bruno
blasted. Bruno got dropped.
doesn't
He
surprise
literally
me.
lost his place in the team. That's how bad he was first.
See, you need a midfield controller.
Martino's a baller as well. Yeah, but that's what it is. But listen, that was another episode of Stoppage Time TV. Big shout out
my
to
boy Renato Sanchez though.
what you seen your boy. Yeah, what connections?
No, I don't know him, but shout out Renato Sanchez. They came for him, and he's had a horrid few years.
Yeah.
Flopped, drowned, as you'd say, drowned the Swansea.
Yeah.
He drowned in
But he was
Swansea.
passing it to the dogs on the side, on the Greyhound track.
To the advertising.
Honestly, yeah, bro. Honestly, bro. But listen, yeah, that was another episode of Stoppage Time TV. Big up Merv for coming through. That was a real last minute call. Appreciate you coming, man. And we are out.
We have our sponsors here. We are Manscaped, so make sure you redeem and get your 20% off.